Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 10th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, doing pretty good. I have a bit of the sniffles, it seems. I'm not sure if I'm sick. I'm still in that waiting game phase of maybe I got something. But I think what's happening here, it's a little bit of a combination double whammy. I hung out with someone who has some pets, and I have a bit of a pet allergy, like specifically cats, but some dogs as well, where I just get like all the cold like symptoms, and I just get really sneezy and gunked up. Uh, I think it was that initially, and now I'm like segueing into like my seasonal allergies of like, oh, the weather's gonna change, so like no matter what, you're gonna get some kind of baby sick, and or you're gonna get like that into a real sickness. So that's fun, that's great, I love that for me. Hopefully it's just some sniffles, and I'll be back to 100%, and hopefully my voice doesn't sound too bad right now. But let's see. Enough about me, nothing about moi. Well, actually, a little bit more about moi. Work was good. Work was fine. Another easy breezy, beautiful day. It's definitely cooler out, but I'm making the most of it. Wearing my hoodies, wearing my sweatpants, so that's nice. That's neat. Let's see here. Anything else in the personal news? Nah. That's about it. So, you know me, I'm going to take my usual startup and then we'll get into some news. I got to say, though, this is definitely a weird week. The news feels like almost like it's slow, but not slow in the sense of it's not there, almost like as if it's stopped up. Kind of like my nose right now. Now, the reason I think for that stop up is and it's makes sense. It's valid and very relevant. What's going on in Israel and Palestine right now? We covered it a little bit in previous episodes, but I think as of right now on that subject, I kind of want to hold out because I want to wait a little bit for things to I hate to say it, but progress. Not necessarily. I don't. I mean, I would like to say for good, but I don't know. But I kind of don't want to keep bombarding you with the same news over and over and over again. I feel like that was a lesson I learned from the Russia Ukraine situation that obviously is still ongoing, but I just don't want to have a week where I touch on the same thing too often. I feel like that burns me out, burns y'all out, and we don't really learn and grow from these moments as much if I do that. And plus, I know most of the people who are probably listening to me also listen to news other places, so you're probably getting bombarded with that like a ton because Lord knows I am. So don't get me wrong, we'll definitely be getting into it. It's definitely important to me to talk about that stuff and speak on it, but I figured, hey, let's kind of use this time to cover some stories I missed last week and also some news stories. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see where this is from. Yeah, Associated Press, AP. Ex-treasurer for Representative George Santos pleads guilty to conspiracy, tells of bogus loan and fake donors. The ex-treasurer for U.S. Representative George Santos pleaded guilty Thursday to a fraud conspiracy charge and implicated the indicted New York Republican in a scheme to embellish his campaign finance reports with a fake loan and fake donors. Nancy Marks, who was a close aide to Santos during his congressional bids, entered the plea at a federal courthouse on Long Island, where she was a longtime political operative and bookkeeper for multiple candidates. Speaking to the judge, Marks briefly outlined a scam she said was intended to hoodwink Republican officials into throwing their support behind Santos, who at the time had lost an earlier race for Congress and was struggling to get financial support for a second run. To impress party leaders, Santos submitted bogus campaign finance reports, falsely saying he had loaned his campaign $500,000, even though in reality he didn't have that kind of money and the loan didn't exist. The fake loan made Santos look way richer than he really was and also helped him hit fundraising thresholds needed to qualify for backing from a national GOP committee. Now, she, said all this, done a plea agreement. It looks like with her agreement, the recommendation comes that she serves 3.5 to 4 years in prison. It has not been said whether or not she's going to actually be, part of the case against Santos in terms of her cooperation. But she does say that she's willing, or at least her attorney has said that if we get a subpoena, we'll do the right thing. So, and I also love this. He adds that Santos had mentally seduced his client, which, if you've been keeping up with the Joneses here, I feel like seduce is not the right word for their dynamic, their, quote unquote relationship that, with Santos being the way he is and his orientation, I don't think he mentally rizzed her. But at the same time, coercion is definitely a thing. But there's manipulation involved that had to do with her family and the death of her husband. Perini said, Ray Perini, the attorney, declining to elaborate. There were lies told. I mean, okay, I believe that. I believe that Santos definitely has a silver tongue and could probably convince you on things that maybe you shouldn't do. But I don't know. I also think that most likely Marks knew what she was doing. This wasn't her first rodeo. I think one of the people she was a treasurer for, worked with, was a Trump ally or what have you. So, you know what I mean. You're kind of familiar. You run with the same dogs. Let's see. Yeah, former U.S. Rep Lee Zeldin of New York, an ally of Donald Trump. She was Zeldin's bookkeeper when he successfully ran for governor. So it looks like she's also known for kind of backing some losers too. But hey, at least with Santos, they kind of came and put their heads together and said, "Oh, we can turn this into a W. Actually, let's just do a little grifting." So yeah, that was the story from last week. I mean, I think we did talk about Sam Meal, who is another guy who's, involved in terms of helping out with the campaign and helping out with the grift. Yeah. We did talk about him because this was a guy who said he was, he impersonated the then chief of staff to GOP Representative Kevin McCarthy of California. So essentially they used his name, this whole guy's just other, identity to stump for Santos. And I mean, it worked, but that's not legal. You're not allowed to do that shit. So I mean, he had a little bit of a den of thieves running. Santos did, and it looks like maybe those chickens are coming home to roost. Because definitely, I feel like they'd be crazy not to call someone like Marks in on this kind of shit. Let's see. Also, a little bit of segue. I didn't have this on the news docket for today. But Sam Bankman-Fried has been going through his trial. I have been, getting little snippets of things as it's going on. It's part of the reason why I didn't want to cover it directly, just because I'm waiting for, a big revelation maybe to drop or let's see, the actual end, a verdict. But he got a new haircut, so he's not, the same curly-haired, fraudster. But, there's that. That's happening. That's a thing. He's living off of PB&J, apparently, or no, just peanut butter. He's vegan, so, he's doing the best he can. And he's trying to get as much internet as he can while he's in jail. I know, this is a whole segue. I didn't really prime it or prep it, but, just letting you know that's the thing that's happening if you want to look into that yourself and let you know that it is on my mind. Let's see. Let's move along, though. Another thing that I thought was going to get swept under the rug, but I figured, hey, let's talk about it since I got the time. From CNN... Man returns to Wisconsin Capitol with assault rifle and asks to see governor hours after being arrested there with a gun, state officials say. So, I mean, here's another one. I'm just glad this motherfucker didn't start shooting and this motherfucker didn't die. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, crazy ass fucking kerfuffle, and crazy he double taps the fucking interaction. But let's get into it. A man who was arrested Wednesday after bringing a handgun to the Wisconsin Capitol and saying he wanted to see Governor Tony Evers, who is a Democrat, returned with an assault rifle that night after posting bail and again asked to see Evers, according to state officials. The man was shirtless, a fucking course, and had a holstered gun and a leash dog when he approached the security desk outside the governor's office in Madison around 2 p.m. Wednesday. Wisconsin Department of Administration spokesperson Tatiana Warwick said in a statement to CNN. He said he would not leave until he saw the governor. A Democrat official said. The man has been identified as Joshua Plesnick, according to a Wisconsin State Capitol Police visitor alert obtained by CNN from a state senator's office. CNN has attempted to contact him. Now, I initially read the story from the Associated Press, and I was like, okay, but they didn't want to name him. They were like on some pushy shit, if you ask me. I think that their argument was like, they didn't like file an official like thing in court or something, so we didn't feel the need to name him, which I'm like, huh? Like, he already posted bail and all this shit. Apparently, too, the guy like hops on like to talk about like, on a podcast and saying how he needs to like do the shit that he's doing, and he's righteous cause or whatever the fuck. So I thought it was weird not to name this guy. Like why not put his fucking shit out there? It is available, but whatever. And that's why we're on CNN today. The man was, Plesnick was told he could not open carry in the Capitol. Plesnick stated he would not comply with that order. The man was taken to jail on suspicion of openly carrying a firearm in the Capitol, which is illegal, the administration department said. While being interviewed, Plesnick said he would continue coming to the Capitol until he spoke to the governor about domestic abuse towards men. The visitor alert reads. The gun was seized as evidence, and the dog was turned over to the city of Madison Animal Control. He later bailed himself out of jail, and then he came back with an AK-47 style rifle, the administration department said. Again, he wanted to see the governor. Dude. Like, he just wasn't going to take no for an answer. Literally, Evers was not there. But he's like, nah, I got to talk about this shit. And look. Cool cause, man. That's great that this is a thing that you care about and all that. Like, how does this work, though, that you're doing this where you're coming and talking to people with, like, a gun in your hand and then, like, coming back again with a rifle on your back or whatever the fuck? Like, that's crazy as hell. Like, you're literally giving domestic abuse right now. Like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should just, like, fall back and, like, change your POV. Come at it this a different angle. You know what I mean? Switch up the approach. But, no, he was about that action, and he's like, no, I gotta come out. I gotta come out with this gun. And, he also came out with a collapsible police baton. But it's weird because, like, when Capitol Police came to confront him, he seemed very compliant. He was, talking with them, having a full rapport. And, of course he, gets done up again. But he was released. I don't know if they've pressed charges on him again. But, I mean, obviously just a weird, fucking bizarre situation. But it is on par with, the past, couple years we've had. Excuse me, I'm trying to burp. There it is. Ooh. At this point, I'm leaning in. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. It's sad. But the story I'm going to get to next, to me, is sadder. And it's unfortunate because, to me, you see a guy, he has a handgun. That's crazy. Yeah, he's arrested. And then in the same night, he comes back with a bigger weapon. Wouldn't you think with the American fucking police system that we fucking have, this guy would get fucking dusted and deleted, right? No, we handled this motherfucker with dialogue. We decided to use words and work things out. In the next story, we're going to see how that doesn't work out. And I imagine that there's probably a color difference here. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I didn't look at Police Nick. I didn't do all my full research. Oh, mea culpa. Go minasai. But, yeah, no, Let's talk about this next story I got from USA Today. Let me read the title. Oh my god, I hate USA Today. So many ads, so fucking bogged down. An Atlanta police officer fired over church deacon's death. Family pleas for release of video. An officer connected to the death of Johnny Hollman, a 62-year-old deacon who died after he was shocked with a stun gun, has been fired from the Atlanta police department. Hollman's family and their lawyers are urging Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, same attorney who's trying to, get Donald Trump on the RICO. You might just get hit with the RICO. To release the body cam footage showing the moments leading up to his death. The responding officer, Kieran Kimbrough, I'm going to go Kimbrough, was terminated on Monday after an Atlanta Police Department review found he violated standard operating procedures during Hollman's arrest, according to a statement from the Atlanta Police Chief, Darren Shearbaum. The department declined further comment to USA Today on Tuesday. The altercation between Hollman and Kimbrough occurred on August 10th after police responded to a minor traffic accident involving Hollman. Hollman became agitated after Kimbrough issued a citation finding him at fault, according to the Associated Press. When officers attempted to arrest Hollman, a physical struggle ensued, and Kimbrough shocked Hollman, according to a press release from Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is investigating the officer's use of force. By the time police took Hollman into custody, he was unresponsive, and he died shortly after at a hospital. Nellie Miles, a public affairs director of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, declined to comment to USA Today, citing the active and ongoing investigation. Now, this shit just makes me really fucking mad. It makes me really fucking upset because I've been an offender bender myself, and it is a frustrating, stressful situation. You know what I mean? Like, definitely tempers are high, and you definitely need to understand that it's like people are going to be irate. They're not going to be like their chillest fucking self. I'm boggling my mind here to see how a 62-year-old deacon freaks the fuck out so hard that he needs to be, arrested for this. Like, why don't you just let this man blow some fucking steam and, keep it a fucking 100 and we move the fuck on. Two, how it ratchets so that you need to now arrest him and have this physical tussle. And in this tussle, it's like, I gotta fucking use a weapon. I gotta subdue this 62-year-old guy. He's so strong. I can't handle it. And you tase him. You fucking go full on electro and tase him. Now, I guess, you know what? Don't say I'm not fucking balanced here. It's great. It's great. It's great he didn't just fucking pull out a gun and shoot him. Just fucking dust him in the middle of the fucking street. Thank you, Mr. Kimbrough, for not doing that. And at least doing some kind of protocol and saying, I'll use my fucking taser. But no, you still killed a man. You still didn't need to do this shit. At the end of the day, I'm certain as hell that you could have fucking done this shit with fucking words and let this man go about his fucking day. And if I'm wrong, well, who can refute me? We don't have the fucking footage to even talk about this shit and discuss it. Like, there's no fucking pro-cop YouTuber here who can just say, well, he was, here's the footage where I can show you how he deserves to get fucking executed. Like, we don't have that yet. So I would like that, at least, if you're going to fucking come for my neck here. But I would think that if this is your job, you do this shit every fucking day, you are tasked to protect and fucking serve. I don't get how someone being irate goes, oh, well, I gotta fucking just arrest you. Like, what was said? What was done? I don't know, man. It vexes my fucking mind. Because I literally just told you a story where a man had a handgun, then evolved the fucking handgun into a fucking assault rifle, and is like, we're fine, he's good. He's still alive today. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a little agitated with this. They do go and show, I believe, his daughter, I think, was on the phone with him. And then, by the time, she hears the incident, she's trying to go to the accident. By the time she gets there, her dad is dead. And that to me is crazy. That's not how a fucking traffic incident should go. Once again, just, sticking on this anecdotal fucking zone I'm on. I've been through that shit. You go through a fender bender, the cop comes out, and I've had good situations with the fucking cop, and he's like, kind of like on my side, and I'm the guy who did the fender bender, and he's just like, yo, like, do you really want to run this up? And, the person's like, no, I really want to run this up, and so we had to go through the whole fucking thing, but like, yeah, he issues me a citation, I'm like fucking bummed, And he's, that just is what it was. Now, granted, yes, did I not freak out and, I didn't have a fucking reaction? Sure, yeah, I took the L. But even if I didn't, I don't think this guy's gonna go, well, I'm gonna arrest you. But I don't know. All I can do here is do conjecture because, once again, we do not have the footage. There's a reason these body cams are a fucking thing. And, I understand that, yes, you're afraid of what the aftermath is going to be, what the reaction is going to be from the people, but this is important. We need to see the shit. These motherfuckers need to be held accountable. It's part of your job. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. No, dude. Also, to add to, before we move along, of course, this dude is saying, hey, there's a couple things I actually need to get into. Of course, the cops are now going to do their full due diligence, and according to a police report, officers found 9 bags of marijuana and a firearm in Hollman's vehicle. The firearm, Davis says, was to return to his lawful owner, Hollman's grandson, which I'm sure is all going to be used potentially in defense. Well, look at all those 9 bags. I'm sure he was a marijuana dealer / deacon. Motherfucker, that does not matter. This cop, Kimbrough, did not know this. His spider sense didn't start tingling. He's like, I gotta fucking arrest him. No. Something happened, and then this thing, he used this unnecessary fucking force and killed a fucking 62-year-old. That's all I'm fucking seeing here. Cool. He had drugs and a gun in his car. All right, whatever. I once again referenced the guy who literally was not supposed to be walking around with a fucking AK-47. It's it's my right. And it's motherfucker, you don't even have to conceal carry for any of the shit. The fuck are you doing? It's just crazy, the juxtaposition between these two fucking stories. I'm telling you, it blew my mind out a little bit. And so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I want to talk about both. Give me both of them. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, the cop's mad that he's got fired. He's, disputing that, appealing that. We'll see how that goes. Maybe this motherfucker will get his job back even on top of it. Who knows? But probably not. If I were me, dude, just go to private sector. Just become a fucking security guard. You're gonna be fine, dude. So what? You lost your license to kill. You'll live. Sadly, Hollman didn't. Okay. Let me move along here. I've raised my blood temperature, and blood pressure enough. Let me move on to Law and Crime. Got a little bit of an interesting ditty to tell you. Another crime story, another scheme. But before we get into this, let me take my break. Let me de-stress. Okay. Ooh-wee. Oh, yes. Yes. We're back. We're so back right now. Okay. Once again, from Law and Crime. Hardee's employees busted in alleged elaborate scheme to steal credit cards from customers to bail inmates out of jail. This is bigger than burgers, y'all. Okay. Let me read the pun. Let me read the motherfucking pun. Shout out to Law and Crime for doing this. I love this. Instead of baking biscuits from scratch, a group of Hardee's employees in Indiana allegedly baked an elaborate fraud scheme. Fucking let's go. I love a good pun. We love that. Yummy. Also, please tell me, holla back at me, were you a Hardee's enjoyer? For me, back in the day, I used to love Hardee's. There was a Hardee's back where, my old home, and it was down the street. I would get Hardee's breakfast. I would get Hardee's lunch. They had the best breakfast, best lunch, because their shit was just so big, so yummy. Then they left. Then they went belly up or whatever where I lived. But I would still get them every once in a while when we would go back home to where my dad lived in Moberly, Missouri. A little small town. But they had a Hardee's and a Walmart, and I love that Hardee's so goddamn much. Yummy. Needless to say, they did come back to this area. They didn't really thrive here. They went belly up again. R.I.P. But we love Hardee's. We love Carl's Jr. But it's not about that. But I do want to know if you liked it. But this is about crime. We got to talk about a scheme that was hatched. According to the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office, the jail administrator noticed an inordinate amount of money going into the communication accounts of inmates. The same inmates were then using those funds to bond out, leaving with jail issued debit cards. Captain Andy Hynek initiated an investigation and uncovered a complex scheme involving several employees at a Hardee's restaurant in Michigan City, along with other people, a press release said. In August and September, a few employees took photos of drive-through customers' credit and debit cards. The employees took the credit card numbers and used them to deposit the money into communications accounts of inmates with low bond amounts. The inmates were bonding out almost immediately, utilizing the fraudulent funds on their Securus account, said the police. The bonded out inmates were then transported to ATMs, where the remaining balance on the jail-issued debit cards were withdrawn. The investigators determined nearly $15,000 was stolen from customers. The Hardee's customers who had their credit card numbers stolen are working with financial institutions to try to get their money back, agency said. The investigation uncovered a complex fraudulent scheme, said Captain Derek Allen in a statement to Law and Crime. We are very fortunate Captain Hain and the jail administration caught the irregularities shortly after they began to occur before citizens were victimized, before more citizens were victimized. Let's run through the names, even though I do say I hate fucking giving all names. It kind of bogs down the story, but, here's who they are. Five face fraud and criminal organization activities. Prince C. Arnold, Anissa C. Higginbotham, Kristen R. Vorkenschweik, Darren R. Ward, Madison M. Zook, and 5 are facing charges of conspiracy to commit fraud and criminal organizational activity. These are Lawrence Armstrong, Carissa A. Baylor, Holly D. LaChapelle, Moesha Monique Savannah Payne, and Dylan V. Scott. Everyone except Scott has been arrested. And they have a number here if you're trying to, help out LaPorte Sheriff's Office. Feel free to go look that up if you want. By all means, go off. But yeah, man, Hardee's in crime. I didn't expect to see that on the docket for this week, but here we are. And that's the episode. If you'd like to support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/News. If you'd like to help out, you do become a newsie for your hassle. I shout you out at the top of the month, and then I also plug you on a project if you'd like. Feel free to hit me up for free, though, at isaiahnews1@gmail.com. I'm on all of the socials that you're probably on. Feel free to look me up or the podcast up. You'll probably find me. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. It means a lot. It helps out a lot, especially if you're listening. While you're here, just hit that button. Thumbs up are great. All the reviews are great. Feel free to comment. Say something nice. It always helps out, It puts a smile on my face, and I think that helps the world. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.